Hey up guys, welcome to Idiot Mod Skyrim Part 8. In today's episode we're going to install an Archery overhaul mod. But first I'm going to try and explain why I wanted this mod in the first place. I'm going to be using my vanilla profile with absolutely no mods installed, not even SKSE. We're up here just outside Javaska. I'm going to go into my inventory and get a bow out. I'm going to go down to a glass bow. It's totally unenhanced, I haven't done anything with it, it's just a plain old-fashioned glass bow. I draw it, pull back, and I target in on the bullseye, and I miss. Do that again. Target on the bullseye, and the arrow goes high. To hit it I'm going to have to actually aim somewhere down here, sort of below the ring. Okay, that looks like a good shot. Let's go and have a look. As you can see, to hit the bull I had to aim down here, and when we look, the arrows have, they've penetrated all the way through the target. But that doesn't work when you hit somebody. Basically you end up with most of the arrow stuck out this side and only the head stuck inside somebody. When it comes to improving our bow, go along to the grindstone and then use a tool that's used for sharpening edged weapons to improve a bow. Now that just doesn't seem right, and we're using an anvil to make arrows. You see, firewood and iron ingot will make me 24 arrows. I understand that we need some basic metal and some wood, but what about the fletchings that you can see on the end, you know, the feathers? Where do they come into this? It just doesn't seem quite right. So that's why I installed the mod Nock to Tip by Foster. The mod author has designed this mod so that archery is now removed totally from the smithing skill. No longer will we have to use an anvil to create arrows and a grindstone to improve our bows. We'll now be using a restringing bench. There are two of them in the game. The first one is in Whiterun in the Drunken Huntsman. The second one is up in Solitude in the Fletcher. Not only have they changed the way that bows and arrows are managed in game, they've also remodelled a majority of the arrows. Arrows are now longer and will extend past the hand when you draw, so they'll hang out across your knuckles when you draw back. They've also changed some of the quivers, modelled more arrows in the quivers, so in third person they'll be more dense. They've also added a spin to the arrow and it will travel further and faster than it did before. It also penetrates a whole lot deeper. When it comes to crafting of arrows, there are a lot more requirements. Not only does your archery skill have to be at a certain level, you will also need more parts. You will need nocks, shafts, twine, feathers and arrowheads. All of these can be found in chests throughout Skyrim and on fallen enemies, as well as with certain vendors across Skyrim. The new workbench comes in two parts. The left hand side is where you will fletch your arrows and the right hand side is where you will improve your bows. And improving it usually is a two-step procedure. There is the normal bow, there is the £80 drawstring or the £120 drawstring. As you add these strings, bows will become harder to pull back and will take slightly longer, but the improved damage is worth it. And this doesn't just work for normal bows, they've also improved the way that crossbows work too. The mod author has also added a few perks to the perk trees for archery. These will only work if you do not use a perk overhaul mod, such as Skyrim or Percus Maximus I'm using, or Requiem. There are some books that will help you gain these perks back, and they will appear in the level list, so once you get to a high enough level you should get access to them. There is also a new animation for when you bash with your bow. In first person it's still the same push forward with the bow, however in third person you now get a spin attack, and I'll try and get that on video for you later on. The mod author has also added a couple of totally unique bows to Skyrim, as well as a couple of new arrow types. I'm particularly interested in the black arrows as they're dragon killers. Before I go on to the files and download this, I just want to draw your attention to this post here. And it's a sticky by the author themselves, saying that we are required to add these files to our Skyrim mini. And as I haven't had this mod for a while, I'm just wondering if the mod author has actually read this statement where someone has stated that they can create an ini file in the mod and it will automatically overwrite the same settings by adding it to the mod itself. So now we know about this, let's go along to files and download with manager, and I'll see you guys in mod organizer. Right, so now the mod's downloaded. I'll go on to downloads. I'm also going to change back from my vanilla to my Edward testing profile. And it's a standard installation, guys, so it's double click, select manual, no data on the top level, as we know, this is our data folder, click to highlight, right click, set as data directory. There's no sign of an ini file here, so I'm going to click OK anyway. Enable the mod. I'm just going to double check that it's not been hidden away, so double click on it and go along to file tree. And we have a meta ini, which is just the information that it needs for the Nexus information, but no ini file. Now there are two ways of doing it. One is you can go along to the ini files themselves in your Skyrim save folder and adjust it there, or you can use my preferred choice, and that's to go to the ini files on the file here, come down to ini tweaks and right click, then create tweak. Please enter the name for the tweak. Sure, the most obvious choice is Nock to tip tweak and click OK. Now we need to go back to the mod page and we want to go back to posts, and let's just copy all of this. Click just before combat, hold and drag all the way through, and then right click and copy. Go back to mod organizer, and before we do anything else, make sure we enable this and click to highlight it. Then go across to this blank space here, right click and paste, and then save. The reason I always highlight things is because if we don't do it at this stage, this will not save. For some reason, mod organizer likes to have things highlighted before it does anything. So I've got into the habit of clicking to highlight things and then authorizing things. We can now close this and we can go in game once I've reset to SKSE and have a look and see if we've made any improvements. Right, so here we are again, back outside Javaska, in the exact same spot we were, and let's get my bow out again. So go to items. Oh, I do miss SkyUI when it's not there. Go down to glass bow, equip it, and now when I draw back and I target the bullseye, we have a shot on target. Do that again. Remember last time we aimed at here and shot and we got a bullseye. I go for the bullseye now. I should get it. Let's just do a north, east, south and west on here and see how accurate we are, even without zooming. There we go. And you see, the arrows have pretty much been where I put them, and yeah, you see what I mean about penetration? Obviously I'm going to take my arrows back. Right, so that's one of the problems we've solved. Second one, as I did say, we have a new bash animation. In first person, it's a standard push. When we go to third person, however, we have a more effective looking pushback. So how do we go about improving our bow? Let's go down to the Drunken Huntsman and have a look. Right, so once inside the Drunken Huntsman, the bench we're looking for is just over here, and ever delightful Arindia here is going to sell some supplies.
Something you need, you miserable wretch?
Yes, can I have some goods?
Take a look.
I'm going to go along to the miscellaneous and I'm going to buy some arrow shafts. I'll buy all of them, thank you very much. And I can buy a new bow, so I might as well. And I can also buy arrowheads. So let's have some ebony arrowheads. They're most likely to do the most damage. And I'm also going to need some fletching feathers and some twine. And I don't think he has any knocks, does he? I'll look in his weapons. No, I don't think I can make any arrows without knocks.
Thank you very much for your business.
Let's go along here. There is a skill book here called the Crafty Archer. We can take that. And then if you read this book, that's if that book's there. It may not be there depending on your level. We read the book called the Crafty Archer. We gain archery skills to fletch arrows. So if I go to the fletching end of the bench, the left hand side, I can unfortunately not make any arrows because I have no knocks. Fletched ebony arrows, I can now make some of those, so E. I'll have those, thank you. And I need some leather twine, I believe, to make a drawstring, so I can not only build my new bow, but improve it straight away. The £80 drawstring makes it the equivalent of the vanilla improved, and the £120 drawstring makes it the vanilla equivalent of legendary. So I'll make the legendary bowstring. I can now go along to the other end of the bench and use the restringing section when Alfred pickles off. And I can now make my oakwood brightened bow. Yes, I want to create this item. And now I have it, I can instantly make it legendary by adding a £120 pull string. Let's find somewhere quiet and spawn some bandits and just put some arrows through heads, eh guys? It's always fun. Right, so once again, using the console, I'm just going to spawn in just a couple of bandits and see if we can get some fun and games. Right, so I've just equipped my new brightened bow and my fletched arrows. Go back into first person. When I pull back, you'll see the arrow is hanging out over the end of the bow. And let's target this first one. Ooh, headshot. Keep on going. Yeah, oh, put that bow away. I'm only allowed to play with these things. And now let's go for his friend. Where do you think you're going? Get down. Right, so let's check what we've done. Have a look at the damage. Yep, that's definitely a bit more brutal than the standard arrows. Quite vicious, really. Definitely improvement on the vanilla experience. And yep, I think that's staying in my load order. This is where I normally finish, guys. But there's a couple of things I want to show you first. And they're back on Nexus. Right, so the first one is Nock tip compatibility patches. This is a collection of, in some cases, user-made patches that will allow Nock tip to be compatible with other mods. Let's have a look at what we have. We have a patch for immersive weapons. I'll need that one. Don't need the patch for the Archery's armour or for better bows. Patch for faction crossbows. Well, there are some textures from faction crossbows in Nock tip, and I don't use faction crossbows in any other format, so I don't need that at the moment. And I don't use sculpted bows at this time. or unique bows. And the final one here is Nock tip longbow. And this adds longbows to Nock tip that it doesn't normally have. And the upgrade as normal, so there's an 80 and a 120 drawstring. And the longbows usually start at the medium level of the normal bows. So if you have a glass bow and a glass longbow, if you improve the glass bow up to improved, that's about the same damage as the longbow does, but it takes longer to draw. Just go along to files and download the latest file. Download manager. I have all the officials and Nock tip. Yep, we've got all that up. Let's go back to my organizer and get these installed. Now, I don't need the patch for immersive weapons at the moment because I haven't got immersive weapons installed yet. That's coming soon. But I can automatically add Nock tip longbow add-on. So double click to install. Nock tip longbow add-on. I'll leave it as that. If I like it, I can always change it and merge it into the other one. Click manual. No data on top level. Click. And there's no data folder here. That means that this top file is our data folder. I did say it won't always be called data. So left click to highlight, right click, set as data directory. It now looks good. We can now click OK and enable it, and just go in game and have a look and see if we can see a difference. Glass bow, 49 damage, and the glass longbow does 62, so that's quite a bit more powerful. Right, so let's equip the standard glass bow. Quite speedy. Let's try it with the longbow. You see it takes up a bit more of the screen. And yep, that takes a fair bit longer than the normal one to draw. So it justifies the more damage it does, really. Let's have a look on the backs. That's the new longbow. So that's the short bow. Quite a size difference in the models as well. Right now, guys, I think I have taken up enough of your time. If this has helped, give us a like, write a comment, and when we're talking to comments, what do you think of this format of the video? I'm thinking of doing this when I'm doing a mod that requires other bits and pieces doing to it. I'll try and do it solo and do a bit more detail on it, and when there are mods that complement each other, I'll try and get those together in a single vid and maybe spend a bit more time on those. Let me know what you think, guys. Is these working? Don't forget, you can always subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.